and welcome back to another episode of Whitby Guernsey Knit. As usual, I will show you my completed projects and my future projects. I just want to begin by thanking you all for the lovely comments and liking and subscribing. It's really heartwarming when, especially when you comment, and it makes me think, oh yes, I must do another vlog and show what I've been up to since the last one. So here we go. I finished, well, in the last episode I was knitting a jumper. It was the Cloud Sweater by Petite knit, and I was saying about the mohair being really scratchy. Well, I did finish it. I've worn it a couple of times. I'll just get it now for you. I've done a little, well, my husband's filmed me in it to show you what I do like. So the neckline's really nice, along with the little detail on the shoulder, just a little bit of garter stitch. You can really see, I think it's better on here to show the difference of the mohair where I had to change because I didn't have enough. And I like the welts. So that's finished. It was knitted in mohair and some caftan that my mum had a wool shop a long time ago, and I've been trying to use up some of her stock. That's really nice because that is, well, I said in the last episode what it is. This is 100% acrylic, and I used her mohair, which was really scratchy. It was Loworth yarn. I couldn't get any more Loworth yarn mohair, so I sent for some off Shein, and it does look finer than what I was knitted with, and hence the different colour. But it is incredibly itchy, so I don't know whether I will get much wear out of it. I can always send it to a charity shop, and I'm sure someone would like it. So I'm going to now pause and insert that video. The Cloud Sweater by Petite knit. So the part I like is the neckline, and then the little shoulder detail. The top part's okay. If you can see the sleeve, I'm not too keen on the wideness of the sleeve, and you can also see here, I would think, with the camera angle, the difference in colour where I've had to change the mohair to the new one. But I don't think you'll notice that if I'm moving around. So that part I do like. And then if we pan down to the bottom, I quite like the rib and I quite like the length, but this is what I don't like. So if I turn around, can you see how it is sticking right out? So whether it would be different with the correct yarn, someone might tell me. So it would be interesting to know what you think about that. I wonder if I had knitted the garment in the correct yarn, which was supposed to be EcoSoft by Isaga yarn, held together with a silk mohair by Knitting for Olive. And I wonder if that would have been any better. I mean, there's so many people comment about how beautiful that Knitting for Olive yarn is. So the next thing I completed was the Imprints sweater by Drops Design from garnstudio.com, and that was using Drops Bromelain, and that is made up of cotton and linen, 53% cotton, 47% linen. Really nice. It doesn't give much at all, but when it's knitted up and when it's been washed, It's really nice. It's really nice and drapey. So this is it so far. You'll have to excuse because I've gone and put some makeup on when I've just been trying it on. The neckline, I'll just say about the neckline, I really like the neckline and the height of it on. However, because it doesn't have, because it's cotton and linen, it doesn't give, so it's quite difficult to get over my neck, but I like that. So I suppose if you were knitting it, you could cast off or knit the little neckline in a thicker needle than what it says. But it was really nice. I did have difficulty at first because the pattern is so different. It's knitted on a circular needle, but I knitted it on 2 straight needles because I hold the needles underneath my arms, and I get a better flow with that. When I got to so you knitted the back first. So when I got up to the armpit, I was casting on quite a lot of stitches quite quickly for the sleeve, really, because the sleeve ends up being on one circular needle, and then you knit it and then cast off and then go onto the front. And I found it quite tricky, and I think I found it tricky because I've never knitted like that before. So I'm going to insert now a little clip showing you where I got to on the back. So I'll put that in now. So here's where, well, this is where it's knit in one piece up to here, and I've put the markers at either side because then you had to cast on the new stitches at each side on every row, 5 stitches through it one time, then 6 stitches 9 times, and then 15 stitches. But you had to incorporate the pattern, and it didn't say continue how it does on a normal pattern, so I had to try and work it out. And the pattern itself is really simple, but I found that quite difficult to make sure the pattern was going in the correct place along the sleeves. Whether it's actually accurate, I don't know. Then you had to do this wedge shape. Now I've got to cast on stitches for the neck, and on the instructions are not really that clear. They're quite complicated to follow. You've got to keep coming up and down. You can't, I don't seem to be able to print this pattern out either, but it says, where is it? When the work measures approximately 44 centimetres from the bottom edge, bind off the centre stitches. So the pattern itself was really quite easy. It was just because I hadn't knitted like that. I was kind of thinking, how is it going? What is happening here? So when I was reading the pattern, because it said the pattern you had to read really carefully, and it also said as you were going along you had to make a wedge shape for the gusset underneath the sleeves, and you had to do them both consecutively. Because I'd never knitted anything like that, I was finding it quite difficult. And what happened was, I'm sure the pattern did run on, but somehow when I was putting in my little markers, I think I'd slipped one off, and therefore my pattern didn't seem to be following on the sleeve. So each line I was doing with the pattern, I had to work backwards to check that it was accurate, and I'm not sure it totally was, but you can't see if I've gone wrong. So I'll put in now where I got to, where you can see it's all in one piece, where it starts from the bottom, works up, and then works towards the bottom of the front. So I'll put that in now, just so you can see this technique, because the patterns are lovely, and I would hate people to be put off knitting them if it's a different way of knitting, just to keep going basically. This is the stage where I've now completed the front, completed the sleeves, and I'm just now going to do the back. So the number of stitches are on the needle now that I need to complete the back, and I've casted off or bound off the sleeves. So once I got into it, it was quite easy to do, really. It's just a different way of actually knitting a pattern. I have the correct number of stitches on for the back, so my stitch count is correct, and I've gone back onto 2 needles because I just find working on 2 needles is easier for me. So I've gone back onto the 2 needles from the circular needle when I needed all the stitches on. So the pattern is okay for the back, and then when I got to the sleeves, I don't know if you can see, I'll just turn it around slightly so you can see, where is it, there, that's where I've done the decreasing, and here is where I had to do the increasing. I had to do that in it said to do it in just garter stitch. Looks a bit odd actually, but it might look all right when it's all sewn together. I don't think I had the pattern correct. I must have had some stitch markers on, and I don't know whether I've moved them off one, so I've had to adjust the pattern as I've gone, and I think that is okay. I now have to look to see if the pattern is okay, follows on how it should do for the back, but a totally different technique really. So you could see there where it was different to a traditional English pattern which I'm used to, and then once I got going down the front, that was just normal. I changed back to the straight 2 needles, and it flew by, so it was really nice. So I'm now going to insert the finished garment on. This is the Imprint sweater by Drops, and I'm really pleased with this. I like the neckline, the all over pattern, and the fact that I don't have a seam down the side of the sleeves. The only criticism I have with this is the sleeve length. I did alter my decreases, but I didn't alter them too much, not knowing about the pattern really. So it's a bit too long for my liking. I quite like my jumpers to be past my wrist. And then I'm pleased with the length, especially because it's for summer. So I'll just turn around because this is more fitted than the previous sweater. And I don't think it shows if there were any mistakes on the arms. I don't think it shows. The pattern seems to run. So again, it would be interesting to see what you think. Now the pattern said to use, I needed 500 to 550 grams of this yarn, and I actually have 100 and last little bit left, so it didn't use nearly as much as what it said it would use, so that was a bonus really. So that's that one. What else? I haven't really done a lot. I think because we've had such beautiful weather here, at least 2 weeks of really, really nice weather. It's a bit showery today and quite cold, but other than that, it's been gorgeous. I've had to be out in the garden and the allotment, so I think that's what's really, really slowed me down. So the next thing I'm on with is a pair of socks, and I'll show you them. This is the first one I'm on the first sock. So it's quite just a plain sock really. These are for my husband. Twisted. So that's the heel, and then I'm coming up towards the toe now. And this is from the book Occupied, which I found in in my local bookshop, and it was only about £4.50 in English money. It's an American book, and there's lots of really nice patterns in. So this is the one that I'm knitting, and there's go-to socks, but there are some just try and show you a few. I'll show you the back. Some really nice ones, really nice. So that is what I'm currently on with, and those socks are knitted in. I sent for it's Yarn Smith's Merino Sock Superwash. It's beautiful wool, really beautiful. It's 75% merino and 25% nylon, and there's 100 grams, and I should get a pair of socks out of that. So that is currently what I'm on with and what I've done since I last spoke to you. I have also sent for at the same time as that merino sock wool, I also got some more. I hope the camera does the colours justice. So same Yarn Smith sock wool, those 3 colours, to knit myself this pair of socks. I can find them. Spectrum socks. Really nice, aren't they? So that's my next thing, really. Oh, I do want to show you these because I think these are beautiful for autumn. I ought to put a marker in. Go through the whole book before I can get to where they are. I'm sure they were at the back. Goodness me. Look at those for autumn. Really nice, lovely colours. So that's what I've done. Now then, just check my notes. Yes, my next thing, I don't know if you can remember, well, on the last episode I think it was, I was in Whitby with my friend going around the charity shops looking for patterns, etc. And I came across these magazines which were only £1 each. Well, as I was going past another charity shop with my friend this time, I spied in the window some yarn, so I went in, and lo and behold, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 grams of baby alpaca by King Cole. It's really soft, it's beautiful. So 500 grams for the price of £10 in English money. So I couldn't resist that. I got those, not knowing what I was going to knit, and the same in this, what is it called? It's a nice name. Dill, in the dill colour, £10 as well. So I couldn't resist those. So I bought those and then came home and thought, ooh, what am I going to knit? So I still want to do this jumper, but Drops didn't have a sale on this. I think it's Drops Air, I'm not sure, but they didn't have a sale with that wool, so I'll have to wait for that. So with the dill, when I looked through the patterns, there wasn't quite enough to knit anything that would fit me. I needed more yarn. So with the dill, I needed another ball, and I thought I would knit this cardigan. Anyway, when I scoured around all the knitting wool sites, no one seemed to have this colour. It's obviously a discontinued yarn. I tried on eBay and I was so lucky, you can't really tell at all. And when I've looked at the actual dye lot, there's only one number different. I don't know if that makes a much of a difference, but you can't really tell. I thought I can do the welts in the separate ball and then just do the main body with the rest of the yarn. So that's going to be one of my projects. And then with the blue, the green blue, isn't it? It's called actually Evergreen, and that I could not get anywhere. So I decided that I would knit this cardigan. I don't think I'm going to do the jumper. I think I am going to do the cardigan. That cardigan, I hope the sun's not shining on it too much and you can see. In the evergreen, and I sent for 2 balls of the like oatmeal-y colour. Unbelievably, these 2 balls cost more than the pack. Just shows you can sometimes get a bargain. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, next, I guess. Well, I think it is. I just want to explain about that because some of you might be wondering why when I keep saying I'm going to use the correct yarn now after having quite a few failures. But it's the drops yarn that you were supposed to use for both of these is double knitting, so I'm sure I should be okay with that. And then Wool Warehouse were having a sale of not the Drops Air but Drops Puna, so I sent for these 2 colours. And I'm going to knit the, have I written it down what it's called? I think it's called Inner Circle jumper. I'll put, you should see a photo now of that one on screen. And it should use one type of yarn of drops, but the good thing about drops is that they have, especially in these books, these booklets, I think it was a yarn group. They have yarn groups, so there's A, B, C, D, E and F, and you can use, if the pattern says use drops cotton light and it's in B group, you can also use drops merino extra fine, drops lima and cashmere. There's quite a few options, and also it says up here that you can also try changing within yarn groups by replacing the yarns as follows. So 2 strands of A group would equal 1 strand of C group, and 3 strands of A group would equal 1 strand of D group, etc. So you can interchange. So I'm sure I'll be fine with that jumper. So I like that. I hope the patterns knit up really well. I'm sure they will, because this white one was a drops one, wasn't it? So that is my stock. That there's a lot to get on with, and whether I will get on is another matter. So before I go, I just thought I'd like to recommend a couple of vlogs that I watch and enjoy, and that you might be interested in. You maybe already subscribe or watch them, but anyway, I'm going to do it because one of my viewers, Sue, messaged me and she recommended that Pawfect Pastimes. She thought I would like it, and I really do. I've started from the beginning and catching up. and the lady on there is called Amanda. Gosh, she's an accomplished knitter and she's really fast at knitting. She knits all sorts, but not only that, she's a beautiful embroiderer and she crochets and she sews as well. So that's a really nice watch. And the other one I really like is a lady called Annika, and she's German, I think, and her website, her blog is called Rosemary and Pines Fibre Arts, and she showcases knitting patterns and designers from around the world. So she'll have a theme of Scandinavian designers and yarns, and then different places, Scottish, I think she did, but quite a few. So they're really, and she does other knitting vlogs as well. She doesn't just do that. I think she dyes her own yarn as well. So she's really nice to watch. And the other one is Orry Mill Knitting, and the lady's called Filled and the man's called Stephen, and they own a wool shop in Scotland, and they do quite a few little shorts. So whenever she gets some new yarn in, she'll tell you about it. I really like watching those. And she also does, I think she does some, I've seen on her shorts, she does some like little techniques and things. But I really like watching her. So that's me up to date. So once again, I really want to thank you all for watching and such lovely comments. And I do try, if anybody's new, I do try and go back every so often and see if anyone's commented and try and answer, well, try and reply to you. So just before I go, because we've had such beautiful weather, I went to a little village called Sandsend, which is to the north of Whitby. I've shown a vlog about Robin Hood's Bay, which is to the south of Whitby, and Sandsend is to the north. And it was the 1st of May and the weather was absolutely incredible. So I thought, I'll go and do a little vlog around Sandsend. Well, my camera videoing was appalling, so but I've tried to clip a few little bits, and maybe a bit disjointed with my commentary and a little bit shaky, but I've gone around Sandsend because it's so beautiful there. It's just my favourite beach, has so many memories, and it's safe for children. It's just a lovely place, very expensive place, but a lovely place. So if you don't want to watch that, you can stop here. So until next time, thank you again. Enjoy your knitting. Bye. Hello everyone. So today is the 1st of May, and here in near Whitby, North Yorkshire, we've had the most glorious 2 weeks. So I thought I'd just come down to Sandsend and give you a little look around. If I pan around, I'll just turn the camera around if I can. So while there's just a little lull in the traffic, I'll show you the little cottage next to the pub, a really nice pub that, doing really nice meals. And then pan around again. There we go. So we're coming to the little bridge, and I'll show you as we go across. There's an entrance to, it's called Mulgrave Woods, and they're the woods that belong to Lord Normanby and leads up to their castle. It's a beautiful walk as well. So we'll just go across this modern bridge which they've had to install, and it's not a patch on the old bridge, but there's that much traffic now. I guess everywhere you go, that's picturesque in the country. People having so many, well, a car really to get about. everywhere gets invaded and beautiful weather. So down there is Mulgrave Woods. You go past, it's called Fish Cottage, which sells takeaways or fish and chips, or you can go inside for a meal, and it's really nice to get their takeaway fish and chips. There's the view once again to Whitby. You can see famous Whitby Abbey, the pier extensions. And come around. Couple of fishermen at work. Right, so this little pathway takes you along the valley. It's called the Valley, and there's the most beautiful little cottages along here, and they're either owned by Mulgrave Estate, or most of them are holiday cottages. In fact, I was talking to one person and they said that there are only 3 original Sandsend people living in Sandsend. Times change. It's so beautiful. This is the quiet part of Sandsend, really. Doesn't that sound beautiful? There's a lovely little church ahead called St Mary's, and it's beautiful inside. Really small, but perfectly formed. One of the rare houses for sale down here. If you've got a cool 1.1 million, you can buy it. Approaching the final bridge before you can turn left to go into Mulgrave Woods again. God, it's so tranquil, isn't it? It's just beautiful. Beautiful. So that road there takes you back into Mulgrave Woods via a different route. St Mary's Hill, and there's a lovely church. Cherry Blossom, still in blossom.